What's up, my fellow dungeon delvers? My name is Brent, and this is For the XP, a YouTube channel dedicated to Dungeons and Dragons and tabletop gaming all alike. Today, I'd like to talk about a more sensitive subject of Dungeons and Dragons, character death, and how to deal with it as a PC and as a dungeon master. I have a few notes that I took down on my personal opinions on how one would deal with such things, and let's go ahead and get started. First off, we'll start off with the DM's perspective. Don't feel bad if a character dies. It's not your job is to provide a firm but fair ruling system while providing a fun and enjoyable environment. One of the things that I strive to tell my players is that character death is a very possible and a very viable thing, and it could happen to their characters, and they should be somewhat prepared for that. I also believe that character death can add a little bit of spice to the game. It can provide potential plot hooks of revenge and vengeance of the other players that survived the attack or whatever killed them. Perhaps it was, depending on how they died, of course, and also depending on the circumstance of the death. Make sure it's as memorable as possible. Make sure it sticks in the player's memory that how that character died and why they died. Make sure it was meaningful as well. If the death was caused by battle, make sure it's, like I said, memorable and meaningful, but make sure it's like glory filled. Make sure they died in an epic way. Make it kind of feel good in a sense, kind of like the way the ancient gladiators of Rome would seek to die. They want glory, and in certain circumstances, you want to prevent yourself from making it too gory and blood filled, because some people are a little bit uncomfortable with that. But depending on your game, you can make it as gory as you want. In the event that the death was made by unusual circumstances, I would recommend, like, for example, like through social interaction, to where you just rolled so badly on your persuasion checks, or you said the wrong thing to the wrong person and it led you to be attacked by guards, or perhaps locked up and set up for execution because you insulted a high-ranking noble of the royal line, or something of that sort. And through different ways of possibility, via social interaction, or perhaps you just kept insulting this person, or you just failed on your social interaction skills so much that it just put you on the chopping block and you died. It makes for a good story. It's a little harsh, but with certain unusual circumstances such as that, not that one in particular, you could also spin it around and make it a little bit more comical. Take the edge off by making it a little more funny and enjoyable of an experience. Sometimes it's not possible. Sometimes it'll happen in, like, this unusual way will happen during a more serious note of the game, and you can't make that comical, otherwise it takes away the sting. In the event of a TPK, learn from the campaign that you ran and balance your skills as a DM. Perhaps you made an encounter that was too strong for them via a monster's encounter rating, or too many of the same monster, just an overwhelming force. Perhaps they died from natural circumstances to where you made the right idea. Either way, every situation in D&D as a DM, whether you're running combat or running social encounters, has something that you could take from it, something to learn from, and that's part of the reason why I enjoy this game so much. As I said in my first video, that there is so much to learn from this game. In the event of a first-time character death for a new player, be there to help them get through it. It sounds kind of cheesy, but it's, as their first characters, they're going to be a little more attached to them. They're going to more likely be hit with this reality check that death is a circumstance that could possibly happen with their character, and so they could be a little upset about it, and make sure that they know that it's okay to be upset and to have loved their character or really like them, but they need to be there and make sure they don't get unreasonably upset and flipping tables and swearing and making everybody else uncomfortable. Help them deal with it and help them rebuild a new character. Obviously, if their first character dies and they stuck around for long enough for that to happen, they really enjoy the game. Find a way for them to create a new character and perhaps integrate them in this current campaign. Unless, of course, there was a total party kill to where everybody can start up a new campaign, perhaps in the same world that they were just in, and they kind of pick up where past adventurers left off in a different city or something of the sort, or you can create a whole nother world. Now, as for a PC, what you need to realize, 9 out of the 10 times your DM is not actively trying to kill you. It's just how the dice landed, how it just turned out. Most of the time, DMs aren't actively trying to kill their players unless they're playing some format of the game to where the whole goal is to try to kill the PCs. And I typically wouldn't want to be part of that because I'm all about character development and the possibility of becoming, epic level characters. That's just my personal preference. As a player, you do need to understand that death is a part of the game and it's very possible. Yes, it sucks, and especially if you really enjoyed the character, and it's okay to be emotional if you lose that character. It's okay to be angry and upset, but for the love of Cord, do not, and I mean do not, have the most ridiculous reaction in the world where you start swearing, cussing, flipping tables, getting pissed off. Just don't do that. That's ridiculous and immature. This game already has enough of a bad social stigma of a lack of maturity anyway, because most people who don't understand Dungeons & Dragons kind of see us as nerds playing in a basement, playing make-believe, and see that as somewhat immature. So you throwing a temper tantrum or having an emotional shit fit is not going to help the situation at all. It's just going to make the other players more uncomfortable to be around you and possibly not want to play with you anymore. Which brings me to my second point. Stick around take a moment to calm down, but stick around and witness how the game turns out. You don't have to just immediately get up and leave in the middle of a session because your character died. You could stick around and watch and see how it unfolds and see how your players or your fellow party members handle your death and perhaps get the revenge and avenge your death by killing or slaying whatever had killed you, or find out that they got away, and then during this time make another character, work on a new character concept. You could perhaps take what you learn from your experience in this campaign, such as better RPing skills or better mechanical knowledge of the type of character you played, and use that to your advantage to make a bigger and better character than before. We all need to remember that this game is just a game, and character death does not mean the end of the world, and that it will be okay, and you could always remake a new character or start anew. What we all need to remember, both DM and PC alike, is that character death is a very likely thing to happen, especially at lower levels. Depending on how you handle it as a person, both a DM and as a PC, can make it a more interesting and enjoyable experience to play games such as Dungeons & Dragons. Make sure you can control your emotions, and make sure that you don't make everything else uncomfortable. Make sure that the death is memorable. Go out like a hero. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you liked this video, give it a thumbs up. Maybe perhaps leave a comment about how you handle your character's death, both as a PC and as a DM. Subscribe if you enjoy my content and to see more videos. And always remember, no matter what you do, do it for the XP. Have a good day.